Chapter 62-99. At this moment, in a Buddhist house on Putual Mountain, a woman with extraordinary temperament was sitting quietly in the yard, looking up at the starry sky. Today the weather dropped sharply, and the cold wind from the north blew away the clouds in the sky. The whole sky was full of stars, which was fascinating. This woman was Charlie's mother, Margaret. Although Putual Mountain is located further south, the damp and cold weather is particularly unbearable. But Margaret was only wearing a thin robe, hugging her arms in front of her chest, looking up at the sky, and her beautiful eyes were shining under the starry sky. Sister Sun came out of the left wing holding a coat, put the coat on Margaret's shoulders, and said, "Madam, it's too late, you should rest." Margaret's eyes were sparkling with tears. She did not let the tears flow, but smiled and said, "Sun Nia, my father-in-law met my parents today. And Charlie was here too. I think they should have forgiven each other." Sun Nia nodded, and said respectfully and distressedly, "Madam, your father hated your father-in-law for so many years. And now they finally understand each other. This is a good thing for both him and your father-in-law. If they knew you were still alive one day, they would definitely be happier." Margaret shook her head, sighed, and murmured softly, "It's different. My parents will be extremely happy. But my father-in-law may be even more lonely. After all, Changjing will never come back. This is too cruel for him, an old man who is nearly 80 years old." Margaret knew that people's joys and sorrows were never mutually intelligible. When people are in the same situation, they will share joy and sorrow. But once someone gets ashore first, the people left behind will only feel more and more lonely. If one from high school failed the college entrance examination together, and everyone faced the same situation together, it would make everyone feel much more relaxed. But if others waited for the opportunity to be admitted to the university, leaving only one person to board the train to work in the south at the end of August, even if this person was happy with his friend's situation, he would only feel more lonely and helpless in his heart. Because he not only lost the opportunity to study, but also lost the psychological comfort that could produce strong empathy. There are two problems that have been bothering her for 20 years. One is, when everything is over in the future, how should she face her son and explain to him that she has missed so much time in his life? The other is when facing her father-in-law. How do you explain to him that his son Changjing is no longer there, but she has been alive? Thinking of this, she felt a pang of pain in her heart. The feeling of living alone for 20 years did not make her feel lucky at all. Instead, it made her suffer all the time. Especially not being able to see her only son for 20 years was an inhuman torture for her. Seeing Margaret's sad expression, Sun Nia quickly spoke to comfort her. "Madam, don't think about these things for now. Mr. Wade and your father have reconciled, which is a good thing for both of them. Besides, it may take many years to resolve the warrior's den. Why should you worry about what will happen in the future?" Margaret nodded gently and said, "Although the warrior's den has lost 4 earls, this is not a serious blow to them. Charlie will face more difficulties and obstacles in the future. Last time, Maria asked him to talk to the Rothschild family for a set of the most advanced AI models. I feel that he should want to take the initiative." Sun Nia asked her, "Madam, should we convey some of the information we have to the young master?" Margaret pondered for a moment, waved her hand, and said, "Let Charlie follow his own pace. We don't know much about the warrior's den. Giving him the clues we have will make him question and guess on the one hand, and it will also interfere with his rhythm and judgment on the other hand. We are watching secretly. If the place he is going to in the future happens to be one we all know, we will consider whether to create some opportunities to give him information." Margaret said self-deprecatingly, "In fact, we have never caused any substantial trouble to the warrior's den over the years. After all, the gap between our strength and the warrior's den is too big. I am very lucky that she has not discovered us over the years. If Charlie did not have the luck she has now, I might have to hide from Victoria until I die. In this matter, Maria and I have experienced exactly the same thing. but she is more difficult than me. I have been hiding from her for 20 years, while she has been hiding from Victoria for more than 300 years. Sun Nian nodded very understandingly and said, Madam, the young master is making rapid progress now. I believe it is only a matter of time before he disintegrates the entire warrior's den and kills Victoria. Margaret nodded and said in a melancholy tone, For me and Maria, Victoria is the biggest enemy. But for Charlie, Victoria is just the beginning. The one in the 10,000 mountains is his biggest challenge.